only would a win for M60s, have them tied with eClipse, they would be gaining on Apex as well.
Well, unfortunately, we're not going to have a face-off, but we do have none other than the master of pupils himself, Mr. Super Slam. How you doing tonight?
I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
No matter what, I'm always the one doing these. It's weird. It's really weird, man. Like there's always these chances where I might not have to do the face-off. I end up doing the face-off, but there's like some people from other teams having problems. I don't know, man.
Well,
I'm always here. I'm the constant.
Do you
of
not
these.
like being here with me, pupil? Because
Yeah.
I'm a fan of
No,
yours.
I love being here.
Okay, well, the way you said
are
it.
the reason why I love being here.
All right. So last time you two played, it was obviously a loss for you guys. I know you weren't happy about that.
Well, they won. They dropped a few rounds too high. Well, against M60s.
No. I'm talking about M60s.
Right.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about high.
No. We already discussed high. So your approach to this match, I obviously you don't want to lose, and I'm sure you didn't really train differently. But what's the mindset of the team as far as like how bad you want to beat M60s tonight?
We want to beat them pretty badly. It's something we've been looking forward to, especially after beating Apex 5-4. It's a huge, I wouldn't just say milestone, but like a goal for us. We want to be able to prove that we can beat any team in the WGLNA, and I think if we win tonight, that'll be proven pretty well. We're looking to win here.
I figured there was some passion there. So are we going to see potentially a Super Slam?
We're hoping for a Super Slam, but like I said, Mr. Man, Super Slam is extremely good at countering the Master Pupil Super Slam. So, I mean, we'll see what happens.
All right.
You never know.
I would say any final thoughts, but that's not really fair, seeing as how no one from Aquatic M60s can counter you. So all I will say is thank you for joining us every single time we have you here, and good luck, man.
Thank you.
All right. So that's been true, though. That they just haven't been able to Super Slam. I love the way he says it, by the way. They haven't been able to do it to Aquatic M60s.
Yeah, well, last time, like you said, they lost 5-3. And like I said, it was Cliff that ended up deciding that map.
Oddly enough, for Aquatic M60s.
Exactly. And then like I was just talking about, which is where I got confused, is they dropped 2 rounds to high, which, especially the one where they were a man down, you really wouldn't think that they'd drop that round. But once you see that you're already a tank up from the start, you kind of take your foot off the gas, you kind of get a little bit more relaxed. And that's when you start making mistakes. They threw away their E5 for free. They had tanks get overmatched. It just wasn't a good situation.
I already kind of knew the answer to that question, but I really just wanted to reiterate the fact that they want to beat M60s. And not just beat M60s, but beat them as badly as possible, because they're the only team in the league at this point that they haven't beaten. So that's got a lot of light of fire under your bottom, if you know what I'm saying.
Yep. So a little interesting tidbit here. Just saw the lineups coming in. And Master Pupil is going to be riding the Pine once again to start tonight.
Okay. I mean, he said it himself that he was supposed to, although we have seen him play in a lot of these match days and battles. It's because of internet issues that some of the members of eClipse have been having. So,
yep. So a lot of stuff on the East Coast, especially after that hurricane passed through a couple weeks ago. There's kind of been some inconsistencies with a lot of the ISPs. So.
You would think that wouldn't be an issue, but hey.
It gets in there, messes up some lines at one point, and they haven't gotten around to fixing them all. I mean, after hurricane comes through, it takes a little while.
All right,
that said,
predictions.
That's kind of tough. If M60s, like I said, had won their last match, I'd be feeling a lot more confident in them.
Right.
They did play very well versus eClipse last time, however, it was back and forth. I'm going to have to give this to eClipse 5-3.
Okay. Being as how much, again, I do really love M60s, although I am an eClipse fan as well. I really wish Aquatic M60s didn't drop that, and I know we keep harping on it, but it's kind of a big deal to see them play like that and then go against Eclipse.
Well, those are points that Eclipse that got already. Yeah. Those are points that they need to catch them.
I'm actually going to say 5-2 in favor of Eclipse. I hope I'm wrong, but we'll have to find out, as we are now going to get into the first map in the run back between Eclipse and Aquatic M60s. Let's go.
Steps, the most open map in the league. The attacking team appears near the rocks at the bottom of the map, and the defending team starts at the top. Bases are located near the railway and on the green. The best way to control them is to use the lowland near the second base. The attacking team usually begins the attack from the rocks and the railway, but sometimes they can attack through the green. Teams often drag vehicles from flank to flank, so both teams usually pick light vehicles with a good camouflage rating, but sometimes use tanks with a strong turret and even SPGs.
And here we go. Battle number 1 is on steps. eClipse are on defense. The lineup's coming in as 2 113s, 2 Batchats, 2 140s, and an RU 251. Meanwhile, M60s, a 215B, a 430, 2 Batchats.
Thing's never going to go away.
An Object 261.
All right, a little SPG action. What is that?
And a 430 V2.
What am I looking at?
You are looking at the
Russian future of
laser
tanks.
of death.
So talk to me a little bit about these tanks that I have not seen yet.
So STI, Russian heavy tank, right before the IS-4, comes after the KV-4. Good heavy tank overall, very slow. Great turret though, very well armored, especially for tier 9 guns. Pretty mediocre, but it gets the job done.
Shameless fact, I'm actually selling an STI right now. Not the tank, obviously.
I'll clarify what you are talking about.
I just thought I'd put that into context because it reminded me of my other car. Anyways, please continue.
Yeah, and then the 430 V2, the Russian medium that leads up to the 430. Good camo. The frontal plate is very sloped on it, so it actually does a pretty good job at bouncing stuff from the front, especially if you have time to angle
it.
This
is the 430 V2, correct?
Yeah, the tier 9.
Okay.
It does side scrape pretty well if you're very cautious with it. And then we're sitting right behind it.
That's a weird-looking tank.
Object 261. As I called it, the Russian laser of death. Very low gun arc, very fast shell travel time, very, very accurate. If there was artillery that you wanted to shoot at Batchats and whatnot, this is the one you want to bring typically. The M50-53s.
What's the reload time on this?
Comes in at, I believe, around 26, 27 seconds.
Not terrible
for
a laser beam.
Yeah, well, it has pretty low alpha on both the HE and the AP shells, so it doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but being as accurate as it is and as fast, having a good reload, it kind of balances everything out. And it's a very quick artillery for a tier 10. Now, a lot of the tier 10 artillery are pretty slow. The GW, the T-92, the Conqueror. This one actually has some mobility to it, so like the M53, 55, or any of the French artillery, it can move around.
Right.
Which, as you're seeing right now, it's getting up
there.
No,
it's quick on its feet. And I just did good confirmation. It's 24 seconds per shot. But you were close. 27, not bad.
Yeah, well, I think it's 27 by default, and then once you add in the rammer and BIA and vents and you can't use vents because it's open top, but rations is what's going for.
Yeah, crew skills as well.
Yeah, BIA, Brothers in Arms. That's the crew skills.
BIA.
Yep. So, a little tidbit for those out there if you're picking crew skills for tanks, if you have some extra gold sitting around, the best way to do it, in many people's opinion, is train stuff that you get the benefit of while you're grinding it up. So stuff like repairs, camo, mostly just those two. And then once you get to 100% on the first crew skill, use the gold, retrain it, and then put on stuff like Sixth Sense is typically a must for most tanks, and then do the same thing for the second crew skill. And once the second crew skill is done, then put Brothers in Arms, because you need all the crew members to have it, and they all need to be at 100% to get the bonus. And then after that, then you don't really need to bother retraining them, but that's just the most effective way to build a crew in your tank. Now, that being said, all of these players have all of the perks available to them. All of their crew members are all decked out, so they get BIA by default, Sixth Sense, and all the other fancy little things.
So, cap pressure starting on the 2 cap. And we're seeing a response from the entire team of eClipse actually coming in, aside from Wally, who is obviously sitting up top.
Yep, so they have the STI sitting on cap right now, and he's going to be applying the cap pressure. They have wall hacks, like you said, up at a 0 where you can hopefully get some resets. That STI is pretty hard to pen, and these 113s are going to push out in the low ground, and Mr. Man actually sitting back here is in a pretty tough little spot.
And I believe that was... What shot was that? Oh, Tigers is pushing into a dangerous situation here. as Veggie and Out of Sight are all there.
And this is where that DPM for Mr. Man in that 430 can come in handy. He gets to snap off a shot every 5 seconds. With the other Tier 9 and that 250B sitting right there, they should be able to pick off Tigers.
Almost, in fact, virtually no damage has been done to Mr. Man finally taking some shots. Felix did already fall. And Bales is actually about to go down, taking heavy damage. Brent's in the Object 140, going to take him out.
Well, they need to hurry up and get Ox before he can get out of there. Their artillery really needs to get into this fight.
Shots out of Mr. Man. He's going to go down. Veggie cleaning up Ox. And now Mort is on the high ground. Not the best situation for Aquatic M60s, but it's also not the worst for them as they are still doing comparable damage to Eclipse here. Brett seems taking quite a bit. Dark Ninja, is he going to finish off Brett?
No, he's going to be out.
Not. And he is going to go down as he goes rock climbing momentarily as he enjoys the last of his life.
261 just hasn't been able to get into this fight. The Batchats were able to push over onto that STI and really just take him out pretty much instantly.
And we saw one decent shot at the start before that fight even really started from the 261, but not enough.
It was 300, so it's not really anything you can say is decent. It is damage, but not enough to make bringing a Tier 10 artillery worth it.
No, I agree with you. And not quite a super slam, but pretty quick, yeah. As far as the first battle is concerned.
Yeah, now we have to see, can Morphic in this 261 get off a nice shotgun here to close out the round before he goes down. He will get lit.
It'd be amazing if he shot at someone and then it bounced and then bounced again and just ammo racked 3 tanks. I mean, I know that's...
Oh, he does pick off Petro.
Oh my god.
So he gets that.
As I was joking, he destroys Vetro. Not bad.
He gets that down, but that's pretty much the only damage he really did all game.
It's something, right?
Yeah, no, that 261 just not really able to do much. We'll see the damages in just a moment. I creative out of M60s. I like the ideas.
It was an odd lineup. Very odd.
Well, the problem was that they weren't really able to punish the mediums once they pushed over. They did a great job at focusing down those 113s.
Yeah.
Pushing the low ground. The problem was they didn't have, when they committed 3 guns down there, plus you have the artillery sitting in the back. That's 4 guns out of the fight, so you only have 3 left. One of those is sitting in the wide open on cap, and that only leaves 2 tanks to cover him, and so the 4 bat shots from Eclipse just pushed up and into it and just finished it off. And looking at it, 261 only able to do 721 damage, firing 5, 1 hit, 1 pen, 3 splashes. Not really able to be effective. But it was actually wall hacks sitting up on that A0 position.
And the 251?
Almost 3,000 damage in a Tier 8. Not bad. And so, like I said, it was the 140s and the bat chats that just pushed open over, killed that STI pretty much instantly, and then they were able to just push into the other tanks behind it.
And Eclipse so far showing dominance. It was a nice little try from Aquatic M60s. They weren't really able to get much started. Like you said, great job cleaning up the 113s there, but they just didn't have any juice left to deal with anything else. And like you also said, that STI and then the Object 432 just...
Well, Felix in that STI, he was unfortunate enough to just be sitting in the cap in the wide open. The RU kind of put a few shells into him. But once they just made that push over, once they realized, all right, there's 3 tanks in the low ground that can't be effective. They have an artillery. So they just used their raw numbers. They used the mediums. They grouped up, and they just pushed into the STI, and they just got all alongside him. They made it so his armor was basically worthless, put him down as soon as they pushed, to where we weren't even... It happened so fast that we weren't even able to get a camera on it. It just... They went up and over. They killed him pretty much instantly, and then they just kept going, and they cleaned up the rest of the tanks, and it was pretty much over from that point.
Yeah, correct. Well... Going into the next battle now, it's actually going to be Aquatic M60s on defense here on steps. Interested to see how they play it. We've seen, as far as M60s go, we've seen a standard defense out of them. We've also seen a north push. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do here.
Yeah, so these lineups coming in, 4 bat shots, so 140, a 113, and a 1394. Eclipse bringing that 113 makes me think they'll most likely go towards the south. Which is what they are indeed going to do.
And we are going to see an I-7 out of Aquatic M60s, and again, a 30B, which is something you kind of criticized last time, and then a 430, 3 bat chats, and a 251.
Yep, so 30B, it looks like they're going to go ahead and line him up for the boost in the north. And they're going to use 2 bat chats to make sure he gets up there. The rest of the tank's just hanging out in the south. He is going to go ahead and get up there.
And it is Bales, so, I mean, I would trust Bales regardless of the tank he played in to put out the damage to be effective, but...
The thing is like, it's only positives, really, especially in this situation, are good gun depression and good gun depression.
Okay.
Basically. So, it's accurate, yes, but the turret can't bounce anything, and on top of that, you have a cupola that sticks up. So, anytime that you're trying to use that gun depression, the commander's hatch is going to stick up first. So they're going to be able to see that you're poking up and either shoot at that or just wait to shoot at your tank in general. Just anywhere in the gun mantlet, the area right where the gun meets the tank. Normally, it's a pretty strong spot on the tank.
But look at the spotlight. I like spotlights, man. Don't make fun of me. It's the little things.
Then why don't you like the M60s? M60 has a big old spotlight on it.
I love the M60. What are you talking about? You don't know me. You don't know my life.
Have you ever played Clan Wars?
I have not.
There you go. All right. That being said, M60's coming in here. IS-7 in the 30B. The IS-7 is kind of just chilling out right by the cap. Good hold down tank. So the combination of him and Bales, essentially at this point, the IS-7's there to just slow them down if they want to push into that cap. He's going to be able to make sure he gets lights and draw some of the fire from Bales. And they're set up pretty well to deal with that 2-cap right now. And they actually do have a bat chat up at 8-2. So honestly, M60s are set up pretty solid just to chill out in the back here. I criticize stagnant defenses a lot, but
this is a good one.
They have a pretty good stranglehold on both caps. And that's really the problem with stagnant defenses, is you can't really hold both caps, and they can set up to make you move one way or another, and you never want to have to push through set positions, even as a defender. And what they have right now with this bat chat up there...
Oh, Morphic needs to be careful.
So what they've gained, basically, is that bat chat's up there, and just tell me he's not going to leave. That would be crazy. No, he's staying up there. All right, so he basically has that 1 cap all to himself. They have the rest of the tanks there. They can poke over and shoot him if they need. But the reality is they have a pretty good stranglehold on this 2 cap, the 140 on the C0 ledge, and then Bales in that 30B is up above him. They have the I-7 right next to cap to poke up and over, and then they have the other 2 bat chats chilling out behind, ready to punish anything from eClipse. So I gotta like this from M60s. I think they're looking pretty good for the rest of this round. Only downside is Morphic did get caught out, has 14 HP left, so he probably won't be able to contribute a whole lot, but we'll have to see. And they're just going to go over, and they're going to ride this ridge in the blind spot, and I would not be surprised to see them just dump up and over onto Felix here pretty soon.
Man, Felix is lit. He's visible. They know he's there. And if he does get dumped, if he gets poured over on, it's over for him. He's dead. There's no way he's surviving that.
Yeah, Dark Ninja does get spotted. Dark Ninja really needs to make sure he doesn't get caught out here, though. He cannot afford to go down. He needs to focus on staying alive over pumping out damage.
Yeah, Brett has taken a shot as they slowly push forward towards Mr. Man and Veggie in those 2 bat shots. Meanwhile, Felix is still here, hold down. And he might get shots, but T1 Diabetic taking out Morphic, who was pretty much dead as it was. And Dark Ninja trying to get shots off to do whatever he can. Mr. Man is taking a lot of damage, though.
And Bales is just going to be able to sit here and just pick off tanks. Brett will go down to out of sight.
Felix both taking out a tank for themselves.
Like I said, this is looking good from M60s.
Yeah.
When there are easy solutions on the board to break a stagnant defense, you don't want to say stagnant. And if you're running that sort of defense, you should understand what your weaknesses are and where they can break it. This defense, though, between having that batch out up at A2, having the one at A0, and just being able to just kind of hold into this pocket right here, they are very hard to break, and they were able to do a great job at just punishing any push from any direction of eClipse. If they wanted to push south, they have to push through guns. If they wanted to push across the field, they pushed through guns, and they paid for it. If they wanted to push through the north, it wouldn't have been any better. So, overall, just a very solid defense for M60s.
It was very intuitive from them, and they're showing us why they were able to compete with eClipse in the first place. But then again, you got to question, where was this against CD?
Yeah, absolutely. push over and end Ox Mathis.
Right, only 3 tanks left. One of which is say one shot, but there goes Vetro to Veggie, and Tigers now is about to fall with wall hacks only left, and that's gonna do it. Aquatic M60s taking the game and tying it up.
You wanna know what I find really funny is the game where I sit there and just knock all over that choice of the 30B, and I guarantee just because of the position and how they pushed, he's probably gonna be top on damage this game.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, like he was taking shots. And look at his HP. He had to immediately back off, and I guarantee that's probably because they saw the shots on his Coppola. So you're probably not completely incorrect. It's just circumstances, really, that 30B was able to put in the damage. And sure enough, there it is.
3,000 damage in a 30B, and Dark Ninja really wasn't able to get into that fight, but that's not his fault, just because of position. He got some good shots before they pushed.
No, he was getting shots off.
The whole rest of M60 is just very consistent damage with Bales being on top, so not bad there. And then looking over at eClipse, Ox doing 2,600, and then it pretty much drops off after there.
Yep.
Tigers at 1,900, and then Vetro down at 1,000. And then everyone else below that. So just not really able to get in there. And it was a very tough defense from M60s to crack.
That was good. That was good.
If you can put up defenses like that, I don't have any problem with you staying stagnant. If you're in that sort of a dominant position, if it works, it works.
Right.
But the problem is especially on Cliff, we're seeing a lot of these stagnant defenses, and time after time again, teams are showing us, all right, all we have to do is slow it down and just pick it apart, and they're able to find ways in. On this map, you need to do what Apex did. You need to bring some artillery to really dig those spots out. That's the easiest answer I can see.
You got to be a little more creative for that.
Bring some artillery, or that's really all I got, essentially, at that point. Just blast them off.
So just bring some artillery, all right. No, but I understand what you're saying and where you're coming from. So
It's either that, or you really need to, potentially, you could dig in hard in the middle road and then start the cap pressure going, and every time they try to poke over to light the tank on cap, have some guns ready to punish them from some angles over at A3, and then just hope the other guns don't hit, but still even that's shaky at best. So not a whole lot of options to crack that defense, so pretty impressive stuff. It will tie up the series 1-1, and, you know, you got to be feeling good. And going into the second map, it is going to be Himmelsdorf up next, which is the one map that I really feel that
M60s.
Himmels is what I favor M60s on. So we'll have to see if they can hold true to that. We are still a few seconds out. What do you think, Himmels?
Here's the thing for me as far as the series is concerned. If eClipse either takes one or both on Himmels, I think this is kind of more of a wrap for Aquatic M60s just because of Cliff. Now, have Aquatic M60s gotten better on Cliff? Have they decided to really work on that map? I don't know. Are they going to show us that tonight? I hope so.
You got to remember, though,
we'll have to see.
Well, it is a weak map typically for M60s. They didn't get the win on it last time.
That's true. So we'll have to find out. But anyways, let's go and head out to the next map between these two teams.
Himmelsdorf, a small city map. The teams start the battle in opposite corners. Both bases are located close to each other, but in a way that you can't stay on the defensive all the time. The main attack routes pass through the hill, the alley and the railroad, but in general, the attack can be successfully executed through any part of the map. Heavy tanks and tank destroyers with powerful guns run the show here. However, a lot depends on the mobile light tanks.
And here we go into battle number 3. eClipse bringing two 113s, two 50Bs, a bat shot, a 1390, and a grill. Meanwhile, Aquatic M60s bringing an E100, two 215Bs, a 113, two 50Bs, and a 1390 of their own. They are on defense.
Mr. Man would be in that E100. I know the tanks he plays.
Yep, well, playing what he's comfortable in, and you can argue a lot about that. Sometimes it's worked, sometimes it's not, and then you have to sit there and work at why things worked. Was it because of the tank? So, just something interesting to think about. More often than not, he really likes that 430. Still not a fan. Gun handling on it is just so bad. I've said that many times before. But,
it can't
don't know.
Be that bad.
Compared to the other Russian mediums, it's bad.
I've heard you in that tank say, oh, wow, I kind of understand why people use this tank now. Because
the DPM on it is crazy, yes. But the gun handling at anything other than point blank is just abysmal. So, it can be very frustrating to play. It can be very rewarding at points, but it's also very frustrating just the same. So, that said, Tigers will push across the courtyard very quickly, and it's going to put Morphic in a awkward situation.
And he doesn't look like he's going to move. I mean, if he does, he's going to at least eat a shot.
Oh, that is once again, there's one word I want to say right now. I'm not going to say it. But with that grill up on the hill, trying to play that upside angle, Tiger's just trying to get a light on him. And there's just that one little piece of rubble that he's hiding behind. It's the only thing keeping him alive from that grill 15 right now. Just look at it. A little grubble sticking out. 1390 is just low enough, just kind of hanging there. So even up on the hill, they can't shoot him, and he's just having to wiggle. So there's that one little pixel sticking out that can't be hit.
I see it. Yeah, I see it.
And just trying to keep some lights as well, just making sure nothing's crossing. Risky. Very, very risky, but hopefully they make it pay off. And he will get out of there somehow.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Using the batch out there to boost the 50Bs.
I like that.
Making sure they get by. Grill 15 is going to move over to B0, be able to shut down that Bravo line as they get that cap pressure going. Meanwhile, that 113 of Tigers is just going to scoot into the alley along the D line there and or Delta line just to keep some uniformity and look to punish anything that crosses into him there. And Mr. Man will probably be the first one that comes around that corner.
So this is pretty much standard as far as what we see on cap pressure, and it's always usually the 2 cap. It's always usually this little corner here, right about B7. So nothing surprising. However, what is going to surprise me or get me excited is how exactly...
Was that just a grill heat shell that bounced off the side of that 215B?
I don't know, but what is going to excite me is how exactly our Aquatic M60 is going to deal with this. They poured their entire team except for that 1390 Morphic onto the cap. The damage is just being exchanged all over the place. Ox Mathis has been hit. Brett Vetro is almost gone. And then on the side of Aquatic M60s, it's an even spread of about 2 to 3 shells per tank.
I really like that out of M60s. The setup there.
I do too.
The great echelon. They understood the angles that most teams are play on, and they know that there's only room for 2 to 3 tanks to play that angle because there's the alleyway is just so small, so you only have 2 to 3 guns staring at it. Yeah. So they roll up with 5 of their tanks. They put them onto one big echelon, and they say, "All right, let's go for it." They know that they're going to have some sort of instant match in that instant overmatch.
We're getting a little T-Rate light duel. I love these. Morphic, although
missing some shots,
yeah,
does go down.
He's not going to be the one that's going to win that, but that was neat. That was cute.
That shouldn't matter because at this point, M60s are just going to roll through to keep the pain train going. And
Mr. Man not connecting with his shot though.
Out of sight's going to get caught out here by T1 Diabetic.
T1 Diabetic. Oh,
and he misses. The most accurate gun in the game, puts it into the dirt. A little bit unfortunate there.
And he's just going back up the hill. It's like that sad walk-up shot. Okay, I missed.
Well, he knows that if he stays there, 50B's going to roll around the corner here in a minute and clip him out. So he needs to be careful. Ox actually repositioned up the middle, and out of sight's heading right for him. They will prox light each other.
Up. Now this should be a winning fight for out of sight.
And Ox bounces off the front
if he's going to bounce, absolutely. Ox.
The bounce chat, the 50 bounce maybe? I don't know.
We knew you well. He's going to fall. Dark Ninja going to pick that up. Big shot coming out of T1 Diabetic.
This isn't over yet. Eclipse are doing a good job flying into this.
They are trying. Tigers is going to fall here. And meanwhile, Vetro picks up Mr. Man.
I really, overall, I like that opening push from M60s. Just a great echelon.
Second Eclipse.
That Grill 15 should find out of sight here, so they need to make sure that they punish him after he makes this play.
Almost. Oh, no.
But should cost him his life.
Shot. Yeah. T1 Diabetic.
You'd imagine
most likely not getting away.
Oh, and he gets the Hesh pen. Hesh pen out of the 215B. High explosive squash head, has higher penetration than normal HE.
It's still just 2-on-2 though. Brett can afford nothing now at this point. And a bounce.
Good angling there out of Dark Ninja. However, Wallhack's going to come up behind.
Chipping away at the... Oh, there it is. It's a kill. It's now 2-on-1. Veggie has more HP than both of them combined, but...
2 fast-moving tanks. And the thing to remember is Veggie is on defense, so if I was him, I would just pull into this corner, put my back up against a wall, and just wait, essentially, at this point. Even if they come in head-on, he can kill either of them pretty quickly. Wallhacks is going to go ahead and push on a cap, and they're going to send Brett up onto the hill, try to catch anything out.
And realistically, this is the only way they could be able to even do that, because none of these tanks can afford to take anything, really, let alone a shot. I mean, 210 HP on a tier 8 light, and then you have Brett in a bat shot with only 30 HP left. I mean, your options are you have to find those odd angles and get a shot off and do the damage you can without having to return fire or be returned on. Tigers is actually motioning to go onto the 1 cap right now. I mean, you gotta favor Veggie here, obviously.
You just can't afford to miss, because the burst potential there, even if he reloads and kills one of them, they should be able to clip him out, provided the bat shot does get like 2 shots off.
Right. And both of them are going to be auto loaders.
Yeah,
fully loaded.
The other thing to remember is 215B is a big, heavy tank, so he could just drive forward even from a close range, and he should be heavy enough to do a sizable amount of damage onto either of these tanks. As far as ram damage. So they're going to have trouble. So they are going to set up to go for this. They're going to hope that they can catch that 215B on the cross. This is one of those very low percentage chance things, but they're just doing everything they can to give themselves a chance.
Exactly. Give themselves that extra few percentage points of a possibility.
I like that they're just blind firing the corner, even though he didn't have anything lit, just making sure that there wasn't something waiting for him, sticking out. Take the long way around.
This is the dangerous thing for Veggie, though, is he has no idea where that bat shot is.
Exactly. So he can be put in a very tricky situation very soon. So this isn't over yet.
No.
Wallhacks actually finds
Wallhacks. It's going to get them slightly closer to their goal of taking him out.
This is really rather genius out of eClipse.
This is tense.
Because if he comes forward here, Brett's going to be in an angle to get the track shot on him.
Brett still hasn't been spotted. He also hasn't fired himself. Veggie is moving. It's just like watching a mouse being put into a trap. Oh no! What a shot!
He gets it! And now this is just going to be down to ring around the rosy. He just needs to make Wallhacks get off cap, and this should be over. He's going to drive in. He's going to make sure he gets off cap. No, don't slow play it. Go. You need to make sure he gets off cap. You only have 15 seconds. Go, Veggie, go.
He's got it. He's got it.
There you go. And AM60s go 2-1 up over eClipse.
Okay, so I did predict this 5-2 in favor of eClipse, but that was I like the play from both sides. First of all, Veggie flicking that shot and taking out Brett, I believe it was, in the bat shot. Well done. And then just the whole setup that they tried to have with Wally and Brett to trip up Veggie, even Wally getting a little ballsy and taking the shot onto him.
Overall, I'm still just a big fan of the opening play from AM60s. Just a beautiful echelon. They understand. A lot of teams have been putting guns here, but you can only really put 3 guns at most effectively just because the alley is so small. And so they said, all right, well, let's use an E100 on point to start the echelon and then put everything else behind it. And they went through and they just fired off some mean volleys into those 50Bs.
They did a lot of damage.
They gained like almost
really
3,000 HP between the two 50Bs. And just looking at it, pretty good damage out of both teams, really. Oxbath is coming in here, 2,700. Brett at 26, and then it starts dropping off. The Tigers unfortunately got caught out pretty early, but then looking at it, out of sight over here, able to do 3,200 damage. Veggie getting 4 kills and cleaning it up there for AM60s, and then just really consistent damage out of the rest of the team of AM60s with Mr. Man only really able to do 2 shots of damage. So overall, though, I like it out of M60s. It was well thought out. It was well executed. The end there was a little bit, I don't know, call it sloppy. I think that was just good play from M60s, realizing he's a heavy tank, so let's make him go through the hill. Brett had great positioning there. Maybe should have, once he got spotted, just driven forward and not tried to take a shot or anything, not risk it, just be a looming threat.
Yeah, they could have played that better. I'll agree there, but I mean overall, I still want to ask the question: where was this M60s against CD?
I don't know. You got to ask that against get flanked as well. They can play with these top teams. They've shown it time and time again. But they've also shown that they drop points to teams that these two aren't losing to. So really interesting stuff overall. The lineups coming in here for this next round, and some fun lineups out of, especially out of eClipse. A 215B, a 113, 250Bs, a 183, an E3, and a 1390. Meanwhile, M60s, two 113s, a grill, 250Bs, a grill, and two T10s.
Oh no, the cursed T10s. We haven't seen that work once tonight.
Yeah, Apex made it work. They actually did that fast cap on Ghost Town.
Sure.
So that was, but
I'm talking about tonight, and in general, it usually fails. And if it fails now, I'm just gonna say it's a cursed strat, with only Apex able to do it.
Well, we'll have to see. I really do want to see a detailed breakdown of those stats, so I'll have to dig those up when I get home. But
look at that big frickin' cannon.
Yep, and it's actually a rather odd position out of here because he could get caught out by himself. This is one of the strats that's either going to pay off fantastically
or fail miserably.
Either he's going to just completely delete something such as that grill or one of the 50Bs, or he's going to get caught out in the open, have his first shot not penetrate, and he's just going to be caught out of position where he can't do anything. So we'll have to see what he's able to do. And he fires a shot and misses while taking 410 damage.
Not ideal.
And they're just going to push down, and this is where he can get caught out. He needs to hurry up and get to that 8-line alley, or he's going to get caught out and dead before he even reloads again.
And Felix, they're all going.
Oh, he's not even waiting. He just knows it's the side of a 50B. He needs to pick a target already. Fire.
Down he goes. T1 diabetic, not effective at all.
Yeah, like I said, this is going to be one of those things that are going to pay off huge or not at all, and just no returns there. Meanwhile, Vetro and Ox do get in behind the majority of the M60s there, holding that A4 corner. And M60s get Dark Ninja just deleted.
Aggressive. Mr. Man finding wall hacks in the Grill 15, but that is just a Tier 8 light. They still have to deal with the majority of the heavy lineup here from eClipse.
So I like what the Aquatic M60s are doing. They're slowing down the A4 push. They're just cleaning up the rest of the match where they know they have the overmatch, especially after 2-1 Diabetic went down for free. The Grill is going to push in here and try to find a shot. Needs to make sure he makes this count, and then he can follow up and chase. Tigers is going to be on a reload, so Mr. Man just needs to stay close to him until he reloads again. He should be able to finish him off with his next shot.
Oh, Tigers.
And this is all over for Tigers.
Goodbye, Tigers.
And this is looking very good for M60s, despite making that push up the 5 line where they kind of got caught out by that 50B and Vetro.
Right.
They did a very good job at getting safe with those T10s, making it work. And now the 50B and the Grill should be able to get in behind or rejoin the rest of the team.
So the curse was lifted. It may have never been there, but Vetro and Brett will eventually fall. This one's going to go to Aquatic M60s as they now lead 3-1. So my prediction is now incorrect. And I even put it in eClipse's favor. You did say 5-3 though.
I did, and right now it's looking pretty heavily in favor of M60s. Now you got to remember is last time when eClipse played Great little Goomba there out of Mr. Man.
Nice.
You got to remember, last time Eclipse played Apex, they started off 3-0 down and then just turned it into high gear.
Yeah, it was
back.
like they weren't even awake. Like, that wasn't even the real team.
Yeah, so
like, that wasn't even their final form.
I don't even want to consider starting to clip Eclipse out because last time I did that, they woke up.
I'm not counting them out, but again, it's kind of odd that they're having these missteps very early when in the beginning of very early in their battles, when in the beginning of the initial round robin, Eclipse was just right out of the gate dominating.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tiger's in that 50B doing about 2,800 damage. But Mr. Man on the opposite team in that grill, 4 kills for 3,400 damage. Not bad there at all. And Bales in the 113 also doing 3,300.
Always up there. It's not even a surprise anymore. Mr. Man doing a pretty good job of being consistent as well towards the top.
Yeah, and then Ox and Vetro coming in pretty strong for... I don't want to call it strong, but doing decent for Eclipse. Not really able to get into their second clip, though. Vetro only fired 6 for 5 pens, or 5 hits, for 4 pens for 1,600. So still struggling a little bit there. Meanwhile, the T10s, 1,700 a pop, so not great, but not bad. They kind of did their job. They slowed down Eclipse. They ate a lot of shells, and they did what they had to do and allowed the rest of the team to win. But you gotta wonder how that round would have played out if T1 Diabetic didn't play that oddball spot and got out like that.
It could have been a completely different battle, and in fact, it could have favored Eclipse. We'll never know because it did happen, and it was a bad position, and he got caught and destroyed.
Yeah, I get what they're going for.
Well, not necessarily a bad position. It was just a really, again, like odd and unfortunate situation.
Playing the angles like he was playing them, he had to keep re-aiming because he kept repositioning. That 183 takes forever to aim, and so he just kept having to snap off, largely unaimed shots.
Yeah.
And at that point, you're just leaving it up to RNG. Where's this shot going to land? Is it going to go dead center and hit where I'm aiming, or is it going to go flying off into nowhere? And both times, he just didn't land any solid connections. And looking at it, T1 Diabetic, 1 shot fired for 0 pens. So, didn't even connect.
Yeah, and then that's the thing with the 183. Huge cannon, lots of damage, but it takes a while to line up.
Now, be it, I can see it being useful, especially with those 50Bs coming down there. They gave him his side. If he had landed one of those shots, he would have essentially deleted a 50B off the field right then and there. And that could have turned things around. However, didn't work. Went down for free, did 0 damage. So you gotta think about it. Are Eclipse trying too hard to be inventive? That honestly, that strat, you know what that felt like? That felt like a deja vu strat. It really did.
I kind of see
it felt like this is what they do a lot, so what can we do to hard counter? Let's throw a 183 at the end of the 0 line and see if we can just delete something from the start and then see what happens after that.
All right, well, let's go ahead and go to the third map between Eclipse and Aquatic M60s.
Ghost Town. The first absolutely symmetrical map, made especially for 7 versus 7 games. The teams start the battle on opposite sides. There are numerous ways to attack here. One of the bases is located in the central square, the other one at the top of the city. The hardest battles are usually fought for the top base, and this calls for the use of heavy tanks. Sometimes the teams choose fast tanks for spotting and base capturing.
So Aquatic M60s going with a very, very burst-heavy lineup. 3 T57s, a 50B, a Batchat, a T110, and a T54E1. So only bringing the T10, the single consistent fire tank, in their lineup. Everything else is an auto litter, provided those T57s get through those clips very quickly and pump out a lot of damage. But like I said earlier, they're best used when they don't have to move around a whole lot. Meanwhile, looking at Eclipse, an IS-4, a 113, an E5, 2 50Bs, 2 Batchats, and a RU-251. So bringing a more traditional lineup, that IS-4 is pretty hard to dig out, so I expect to see it either side scraping or playing a hold down somewhere. Tigers in that 113 is going to play out by the 1 cap just to make sure he has those spots. And Wallhacks is just going to sit over his shoulder up here at A1 to be able to provide those resets onto the cap.
This map is kind of interesting for me for both of these teams because we've seen both do well on this map and we've also seen both lose on this map. So I don't really know who to call it for here.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. It's not necessarily been M60's strongest map, but however, Eclipse have fumbled a few. Yeah. I think it was M60's actually that got capped out versus Apex.
It was them.
So
had they won that on defense, you could argue they could have won the entire series.
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
and out of sight, just going to sit here. on cap, trying to build some cap pressure.
Yeah, well, let's go and jump into Eclipse's comms.
Yeah, I'm going.
Hey, Ox, even if they catch you, everyone else gets damage in. So.
Yes. I'm just saying I didn't need to.
Okay,
Because it's not even at 50, so. Nice. Alright, I'm loading heat again.
Were you lit, Ox?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm gonna go here and proxy and see if the 57s are waiting, okay?
I should be... Okay, yeah, that's fine. But I should be able to light them as soon as they
Actually,
get
their 57s could be
around
coming
the
up
corner.
through here. I could get, like, fucked from there. I don't know what T1 is.
No, everyone would trade, right?
No,
everyone
not
would
the
trade.
50Bs.
Okay. Well, the 50Bs can move up and trade if needed.
They don't want to be... Okay.
No, not right now. I'm saying
Yeah,
they could.
T1, would you spot them if, like, they're around this area?
Maybe I should.
If we're getting resets, I'm just gonna leave. There's no point in me being here if we're getting resets.
Yeah, I
I have
should
to
be able
save
to.
my shots here.
Yeah, but who would be lighting the guy?
I
Not
wasn't lighting
lighting
him
him,
anyways.
man.
You were lighting him.
Okay. Depends how he. Oops. If he. Sometimes he can poke him away where I don't light him.
Yeah.
Also, when I light him, I expose myself to shots from the Batchat because the Batchat's shooting me. Batchat's been playing zero line the whole game against
Well, I
me.
mean, if the cap's not at 50 and they have one on,
They're trying to
like,
blind
you don't
fire
need
me.
to peek that.
Okay, understood, Wally.
Okay, there's guys
Gas
come down
coming
south.
here.
Oh, I got lit.
Yep.
They might push if they know that you're down there. He's coming in. They might group up and push.
I got the reset. Nice.
I wish you-
T1, just probably
Wait,
run.
be ready
Just
for a
run.
push. Be ready for a push.
Okay, but you
T1,
should
you
probably...
need to start coming in.
Yes,
need to-
I'm coming back. I'm not gonna.
Can you
fucking
just go all the way
blindly
back?
push you.
Honestly, you just play here. Honestly,
Yeah.
you don't even need that far up the flank. There's no need.
For everyone.
Okay, yeah.
Nice. Okay, let's worry about this. Worry about this.
They're gonna kill more.
50Bs,
They're gonna kill more.
50Bs.
No.
I gotta say, comms out of Eclipse are a hell of a lot cleaner than they have been.
So just all relevant information coming down, and Dark Ninja's going to get caught out trying to catch out Mort. However, Mr. Man is going to come in behind and open up into those 50Bs.
Yeah, but honestly, Eclipse is so ready for this. T1 Diabetic is going to clean up Felix very nicely there. Mr. Man's still trying to fire off shots and do damage. The problem is all these autoloaders for Aquatic M60s, once they're out of their clips, they are just sitting ducks. Not so much sitting, but they're rolling ducks.
Yep, and Mort's just going to push in, clean it up. Wallhacks will finally take a shot.
And then this is easily in favor of Eclipse. They're going to take this one and make it 3-2.
It was a great read out of Eclipse. You heard them the whole
really
time.
Was. They knew exactly where everything was, even though not everything was lit.
Yeah, well, they were calling it out. This is what they're probably doing. This is where we should look for the push from. The second they were getting the resets, they understood that there was probably going to be that knee-jerk reaction from the Aquatic M60s of, all right, well, we can't cap, so we need to find a draw. And so we should assume they're in position to get those resets, and so they're going to force that dump. And Eclipse very smartly said, all right, well, we got that reset, so let's make sure that we back off. We're not in somewhere where we're susceptible to a brawl. They made them push in. Dark Ninja pushed out the rest from his team. I didn't really get that play from Dark Ninja because he pushed off by himself on the opposite wall where he was shooting Mort. However, Mort was behind that crane, not really able to get good shots onto Mort. You know, they were sitting there. And that just left Dark Ninja out in the wide open where the 50Bs could sit there and clip into him. And the only thing that did really was make it so if you wanted to go down, those 50Bs would have to come around into the rest of the guns. But it looked, just by the way everyone was driving, that they weren't really sure what they were supposed to be doing. And someone called push, and then someone called it off. And Dark Ninja got left out in the cold and just tried to make the best of it.
He was just like, wait, guys, oh no.
Yeah,
and he's like stuck in the middle.
Exactly. So if it was by design, then yeah, I kind of get it. But the problem is it's a consistent fire E5 versus a T57, and the whole time he's just really not going to be able to do a whole lot. And looking at the damage, it's going to be T1 Diabetic top on his team at 2,600, and Tigers right below that in that 113 at 2,500. However, Mr. Man in that Batchat just able to do 3,500 damage. He got some good damage on the Batchat of... Who was that? The Batchat of T1 Diabetic early on. But then he really... Where a lot of damage came in was onto those 50Bs when he made that push in round. He emptied this whole clip, and that's where a majority of the damage came from through the round.
Yeah.
So overall, though, it just... I like the idea out of M60s. However, the problem is that you could clearly tell eClipse understood it was coming.
Yeah,
they backed off. They were ready. They had the good positions. They said, all right, well, they're just going to try to go for a brawl. That's what you do when you have an autoloader lineup like that, is you just want to force some sort of all-out engagement where you can just put all that burst downrange instantly onto the same tanks, and you can gain like a 2 or 3 tank lead instantly.
Right.
So that way, once you're reloading, they'll chip away at your damage, but then you're all going to be reloaded again, and you can just do it all over again before they can really be too effective.
But unfortunately for M60s, eClipse was very well equipped to deal with that, and they recognized that. A lot of the damage that the Aquatic M60s tried to get off was kind of was ineffective, and they just punished them hard for it. So,
and M60s not really changing a thing up. 2 T57s, 3 Batchets, T10 and a Tier 9 Batchat. Meanwhile, eClipse coming in with 2 E100s, 2 T57s, a Batchat, and 2 Tier 9 Bats. Breaking out the German super heavies like we saw Mr. Man previously in Himmelsdorf. Very big, mean, nasty tank. The E100 hits extremely hard. Armor on it is very thick. However, because it's not really sloped very well, it's pretty easy to penetrate, especially with premium rounds. So then it comes down to angling turret and the rest of the armor correctly. So if you're playing an E100, between shots, do not leave your gun pointing towards the enemy. You want to point off to the side of whatever's shooting at you, so that way your front turret cheeks are sloped at a certain angle. And so we actually have a disconnect, it sounds like. So it looks like they are going to be restarting here in a second.
I wonder if it was a member of eClipse, because again, they've some of their members have had more so of the issues, but it happens.
Yeah, well, it's been. I heard it was wall hacks that we've had a lot of issues with recently, as far as disconnecting and connecting again.
Sure.
However, I guarantee you there are plenty of subs for both teams waiting in this training room.
I'm not worried about finding another player. I just was curious who it was.
So we'll have to see if that was a one-time problem or multiple, but we'll find out in a minute once we do restart. So to finish my point, though, about the last round is you need, if you want that sort of lineup to work, you really need the other team to play into it, and you need to be in a position where you can just use all that burst instantly. And what happened there was eClipse were able to get the resets. They didn't need to make any sort of play to get them, so they didn't have to push into those autoloaders. And then they understood, all right, well, we can get these resets easily, so let's just back off so we're not anywhere where we can easily be overmatched and make all those autoloaders push into a crossfire so we can at least trade effectively. And even, Ox said, like, why do I even need to be here? Let's just back out. And so they made that call. They understood that push was likely going to come in. It was just a great read out of eClipse. And, they got the win, so they're one more round into this. They still have to play one more round on Ghost Town. They may even it up. They may not. It looks like everyone is back, so we'll be starting momentarily.
We're going to be going in about a minute. So kind of a mid-match prediction here. I think, and I say I think, if Aquatic M60s can pull this out right now on defense of Ghost Town and they go up 4-2, I actually believe, regardless of side, that they can take at least one on Cliff.
I would say it's pretty accurate.
I can promise you that they've been working on that map, knowing that it's their weakest map. And in fact, one of the biggest reasons they lost to CD was failure on that map as well. The Cliff has been a bane in M60 side, and I can almost promise you that they have something special planned.
Yep. So the exact same lineups, because of the disconnect, they were not able to change their lineups at all.
I don't really think they wanted to, anyways.
Yeah. Well, once it'd be unfair if you can all of a sudden back out. Hey, I want to switch takes real quick.
Sure.
So someone disconnected. They have to keep the same lineups, and they are back into fight. So my point with the E100 that I was going on about is just make sure between shots, point your gun away from what you're shooting at. You want to be at a gun to be off, 25, 30 degrees away from what you're looking at, and same with the lower plate. Don't have that front of your tank just straight towards the enemy. Have it off at an angle. And
no.
I'm actually getting word that we have a second disconnect, so a little bit of issues going on right now. Patch did come out this morning, so that's throwing a wrench into a few things.
Sure.
So, when anything's ever patched anywhere, there's always some bugs that tend to follow.
Yeah, it happens.
It happens. So
it is the interwebs.
Yep. Unfortunately, another disconnect. I don't even know if that's patch related or if that is internet stuff. There's been some players that have been having a lot of issues recently, so I don't really know. And yeah. So something to keep an eye on. Hopefully they get that sorted out here. Sorry for the delay once again, folks. And it actually does look like it's was it wall hacks maybe? He's still here, so I don't know what that was.
I'm trying to figure out exactly who that is as well.
Yeah, so either way, we'll be back underway in a moment. Once again, they cannot change lineups.
Right.
And it actually looks...
Find out for us. Let us know. Give us the info. Give us the 411, as they say.
Does anyone still say that at all?
This
falls in the same category as we're
beta,
Gucci.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like the same thing as we're Gucci.
Excuse me, Blue Mini uses Gucci liberally, and I like it. Okay? The famous line from Blue Mini was, hey, just take out that 113 and we're Gucci. I think
is that line famous now?
Not really. Why are you always harping on me, man? Why are you always raining on my parade, okay? I don't sit there and rain on your parade. Oh, have you ever been in Gold League? No. You know, I don't give you stuff. Like, why are you coming at me all fast? All fast and loose, man. You know, relax yourself.
Okay.
All right, if you want to catch these hands, you just let me know.
Okay.
Otherwise, just relax. We're friends. We're casters.
Mm-hmm. Or are we, though?
Well, we are casters, friends. I don't know about all that jazz, but again, I really think that if Aquatic M60s can take this right now on Ghost Town, I feel that they will most likely win the series. If they lose on Ghost Town, I don't see them winning on a map that, even though they've been practicing, that's got to be a pretty devastating loss to be up 2 games and then tie it back up at 3-3, and then going into Cliff, a map that you know you're weak on, regardless of whether or not you have new strats you've been practicing, especially against Eclipse.
The thing about Cliff is because of the way it's set up and just being, like I always call it, just Russian roulette, depending on what strats each team runs.
Right.
It just comes to the right storm at the right time for M60s, and Eclipse just doing that one wrong thing, and they could pay for it. So I full-heartedly agree. However, they need to get this round win in the bag first. Once again, the lineups are remaining unchanged. And just because I know people are probably talking about it right now, no, I do not hate Dustin, and yes, he's my friend. We're just rubbing each other a little bit.
He pays me pretty well per month for that service.
Meanwhile,
it's not much, but it's enough, let me tell you.
The E100s for Eclipse still just rolling straight up the 8 line.
Just
hopefully
cruising, if you will.
Does not look like we'll have any more disconnects. And
don't say that, James.
Hey, we can't have one now. Tanks have been spotted, so it doesn't matter if someone disconnects now. The match will not be restarted.
Really?
The second there's contact made or a shot fired.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. The second someone's spotted or damage is exchanged, which you'd assume there would have to be someone would have to be spotted for there to be damage exchange, unless it was some insane blind fire shot. But once one of those two happens, then the disconnect can no longer be called.
Well, luckily it seems that we don't even have to deal with that issue, so.
And we'll have to see if M60s can pick this one up. And they're going with almost an identical defense to what Eclipse had, just a few little changes. They don't have an RU-251 up at A1, and they don't have a 113 out at A4. Other than that, relatively close to the same positions that Eclipse were in through that same courtyard. And they're actually going to go ahead and flex around, the slowest flex ever with those E100s, and get those things driving around.
I'm actually really upset and sad that we're not seeing team camos on these E100s. That show just giving Diabetic a little boost.
Don't know that trying to push a E100 is going to get it anywhere, but they can try.
Now, am I correct in saying or thinking that that's a 100-ton tank?
I believe that is correct. I think it's 100 kilograms. I'm not sure. It stands for something.
There's no way it's 100 kilograms, man.
It's a heavy tank. I know that point. I know that much.
Too much narcos, dude. Relax.
Yeah. But that being said,
100 kilograms isn't even that heavy, dude.
Well, I mean, not kilograms. European measurement. It's not in tons. What is it in?
I'm not helping with this.
It's not in metric. I know that much.
Mr. Man. And that tier 9 Batchet, he might go down. Oh, just barely misses. It was Ox that took that shot. And the E100, he was so close to landing a kill shot onto Mr. Man. And I'm kind of worried about Aquatic M60s right now.
Well, they're getting chased around. They've actually flexed their 50Bs out to deal with these Batchats. And the problem is that the E100s and 57s are out here on the 3 line as well.
Oh, putting shots into the dirt is not going to help their case with Felix.
The problem is that the second wave of tanks for M60s really hasn't gotten into this fight yet.
Oh, and Vetro cleaning up Veggie. Felix should fall here soon as well. This is a bad split for Aquatic M60s. Really bad split. And they still have those 2 E100s that they have to deal with, as well as 2 completely full HP T57s. And here they come around the corner to try to clean up Felix and Mr. Man. Meanwhile, Bales out of sight, and Dark Ninja may be able to clean up these E100s. Morphic gonna go down to Vetro. And I just don't see it here. I don't see it for Aquatic M60s. Even with the kill onto I just don't see it, no.
They have 2
Not
full health
happening.
T57s still. However, they are on reload. Ox is trying to chase Dark Ninja. However, he should come across Mort first.
I feel like eClipse is most dangerous when there are down games, because then that's when they really pull out the aggression.
Yep, and they will clean up Dark Ninja here in just a
this
moment.
is over.
So it's kind of bugging me now. Someone in chat, let us know exactly how heavy the E100 is. Because now, I know it is an extremely heavy tank, but I do not believe it's 100 tons. It stands for 100 something. But I'm sure someone out there in chat has probably already answered it.
Again, here's my problem. I now, whereas I could have favored this in M60s on their side again, now with this tie 3-3, I think Eclipse are going to take this quite soundly. I don't know.
Now, if history holds true, though, we're going to. Cliff was the map that decided this previously. This was the only map where M60s got to win on both sides.
Right.
Now, however, overall for M60s, this is one of their weakest maps. Makes you wonder. It's kind of a double-edged sword there.
E100, 130 tons.
There we go. So even heavier. Which, think about that, 130 tons rolling on tracks.
Yeah.
That is insane. And people, that's something just on a side little right here. We'll go into it after I go over the damage real quick. Tigers and Vetro top on their team for Eclipse, Ox at 2100. And then no one really able to get into the fight outside of the 2 T57s for M60s who came in late. They were able to get through multiple clips. They did a good job. Yeah. But the rest of the guns just really not able to do anything. 50Bs versus Bat Chats and Dunes and whatnot really didn't work out well in their favor. So overall, good stuff out of Eclipse. A little bit of an odd strat there, but yeah, against what M60s did, pushing the 50Bs out wide, trying to go up against the Bat Chats, especially with 57s and E100s had the crossfire, just really didn't work out for them. But something that I just want to point out is a lot of people take for granted like exactly how big these tanks are. Even tanks that are relatively small in this game, say like a Sherman. When you stand next to those things, they are impressive pieces of machinery, and
sure,
you got to remember exactly how tall.
And I'll just imagine how big an E100 would be in person.
Yep. Well, there is I want to believe Russia, there is a mouse prototype that was originally made. It doesn't have any of the engine or anything on the inside, but it's the overall chassis and turret.
Like the shell, essentially.
And there's a video from the Chieftain where it actually goes inside the thing, and he can stand up and have room to spare inside a mouse.
So why not convert it into a house or an apartment,
Don't know. It'd be rather interesting to live in. But I digress. Back to on topic.
My home can destroy your home.
Well, it doesn't have an engine, so it's not going to be destroyed much anytime soon.
But, I mean, as long as you place it in the right spot. Cliff, I don't favor Aquatic M60s here like I did last time.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see. I mean, if they can get one round, it'll go to Muravanka in overtime, which is a map that I'm honestly not too familiar with M60s on.
All right, well, let's get right into it. Cliff.
Cliff, the most dynamic map in the league. Battles on Cliff always turn into desperate double-edged fights. Teams start from the same spots as they do in standard battles. The first base is located near the defender's spawn point, and the second is at the bottom of the hill. Sometimes teams split their forces and send several tanks through the 1-2 line to the left of the small hill, but usually both teams play at the center. The attacking team can send one of the tanks up to the lighthouse or behind it. Fast and quick-firing vehicles are better suited for this map, mainly medium tanks, including tanks equipped with autoloaders.
So going over the lineups, 5 bat chats, a TVP, and an RU-251 for eClipse. Meanwhile, M60s, 3 TVPs, 3 bat chats, and a 1390.
That lineup there from Aquatic M60s almost screams aggression to me.
Well, 3 TVPs is a whole lot of damage they could put down range, and it's actually going to be.
They're on defense.
Eclipse are just going to go for the 2 line right off the bat, and only sending the 2 bat chats over towards the 6 line. So they need to be careful that they aren't overmatched quickly.
This could be a nasty crossfire, though. Once Aquatic M60s do end up getting across that E line, I don't know. It seems as though they're going to slow it down and they're not going to be aggressive, but that one bat chat is going to find Felix is going to find Ox both in bat chats, and Ox actually getting the worst of that trade. All right, let's actually just go straight into it with Eclipse and listen in.
I'm coming down one line. If I don't get lit, I want you guys to follow me back this way. All right. I got lit.
Me too. Don't come.
Too late.
We didn't get lit. I didn't get lit.
Yeah, I didn't get
Careful.
lit either.
All right.
They might push
fine.
me
That's
here.
fine. That's fine. Let's just continue executing this, actually, because they'll think that we'll be keeping the other 2 probably here.
We're down
All
on
right,
HP
so-
because of Ox, so just be careful.
Fine. Okay.
That's fine. That's fine.
It's in a hard spot to kill.
So me, 2-1, and Mort will climb hill. Ox, you can probably start rotating.
I can start
eventually with the
climbing hill right
mediums.
now if you
Yeah,
want.
Yeah, I
go
got
start
lit
climbing
here.
hill. If you're
If
starting
you guys
to
are on
guy
climbing
on
hill,
the
where do you
one-line
want me
push.
going?
Yep, 1 line bush. That's fine. That's a guy that's going to be out of the fight.
Do you want the TVP pushing or no?
Yes. You're with the 2 bat chats.
I need to be in the back because I have no hit points in case they're
Yeah, it'll be
getting...
the bat chat and the TVP leading the northeast bush. Just wait, though. You got to wait until the guys on the hill are really close.
Oh,
We have to
okay.
actually execute the boost first.
Then look middle first, look middle.
I gotta get speed because we're
All right,
kind
that's
of
2-1. It's fine. We have plenty of time, then. We got plenty of time.
I'm looking middle. I already used my repair kit, so...
It's hard for me to light the 3 line here because
You don't
the
have
1
to.
line.
Yeah, you don't have to that aggressively, though.
Okay, I'm up.
I'll let you go, 2-1. You can go.
Okay, they got a bat up.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. Again, I'm really impressed with the Eclipse in cleaning up their comms because we heard them 2 times before on 2 separate occasions, and it was kind of a jumbled mess. I mean, it wasn't like that terrible to an extent, but compared to now, it was definitely a jumbled mess. And they're doing a really good job of making sure that a lot of the information that they're trading is. Or just discussing is relevant, and also there seems to be a lot less agreement. Players are asking questions on whether or not they should do something instead of just doing it. So I like this from Eclipse.
Yep, and the thing to keep an eye on here is with this setup out of M60s, the problem is once these bats get isolated up here, there's no one in position to reset this cap. So what they're going to do is they're going to have a whole bunch of tanks on this hill, provided they win that overmatch, and they can force the cap pressure, and all of a sudden all these tanks have to come across an open field with bat traps up here.
We've seen this,
and this RU over here.
This is what really bothers me is we've seen this exact defense from M60s fail.
Yeah, very very similar to it, and then once again, still going with the staggered defense. These tanks are going to be overmatched. And now the push is coming behind, so their escape route is cut off.
Yeah, that's going to be a dead dark ninja.
Only saving grace is I think Bale should have resets from his location up at A5. However, I don't know that he'll have his own lights. I think it's a little bit too far to be able to light those bat shots on cap.
Yeah, I can promise you Felix ain't getting those lights. As he finds himself in a very poor situation right now. Wallhacks, though, is potentially in danger of going down. In fact, he is. Veggie going to clean him up in a TVP. Okay, all of a sudden this became not so terrible for Aquatic M60s. Still in favor of Eclipse, but
the problem is Felix is in a good position to spot this coming through for M60s, however, he's not getting up on the slope, so he doesn't know they're there. Felix gets lit. And they are lit down there.
It's a very weird match. What? Tigers just tumbles right on down.
As did Morphic. Literally, that is like the closest thing I've seen to literally throwing tanks away. Just cliff diving off.
Got him.
I don't even know. I don't get it. They were in a good position to close that out.
I'm really okay. So I want to know if Felix just started looking up. He's like, guys, it's raining tanks. It's 2 tanks dead right next to each other.
Well, let's see if T1 Diabetic can beat him for style points, maybe?
Yo, check out this backflip, dog.
I don't even know. Like, I truly am at a loss for words. I don't know what I just did. Like, I don't.
I almost.
There's no reason for it.
I was like, did that actually just happen? And eClipse could have just gifted Aquatic M60s second place right there. Literally, if they can take out, and that was
this round is huge. We haven't really gone over it too much.
The implications, James.
If M60s win this next round, the regional finals, like a free pass to the regional finals, is solely in their hands.
As long as M60s, after this win in regulation, can just win every match after that.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It is solely in their hands for them to win. And
that's a position you want to be in.
They need to do it. They need to take this round first. Now, if they don't take this round, they're only going to get 2 points. EClipse will get 1.
It's not really going to matter.
It's not going to be enough. Now, it'll put them in striking distance still, and if EClipse slip up and make any other mistakes during the rest of the season,
yeah, sure, you can
then they can overpass them. But there's only 3 match days left. So M60s need this win. Really,
and you know M60s still have to play Apex too at some point, so they definitely need this win.
Yeah, so looking at the damages here.
Can we see how much damage, I believe it was T1, wasn't it?
They randomly killed himself? No, it was Tigers.
Oh, it was Tigers, yeah. Can we see how much damage Tigers did to himself?
He got off? Oh, no, I do not believe we can see that. I'll have to go back and check. I didn't see how much HP he had before.
He wasn't very low, I can promise you that, and neither was Mort.
Yeah, I'm relatively sure it was close to 1,000, so I'm going to have to go back and check that. But Veggie coming in top there for M60s at 2,800, and then Bale sitting in second at 2,200, not a big surprise there. And then Felix in that batch at 1,600. But I just don't get that out of Eclipse.
It wasn't the thing that's sad about the whole situation. That's usually something we laugh about, but that wasn't even funny. Like, it was just 2 tanks that were just thrown away.
Yeah, like the second one, he landed a Goomba. I kind of get it, but he lost so much HP in the process that they just picked him off, and the tank that he was trying to kill just went away. But Tigers wasn't even close to landing a Goomba. It was just off in the random direction. So whether it was
even funny.
Disconnect or
okay.
Oh, the only viable thing I can think to explain it was a disconnect, and he was just going forward and just drove off the cliff.
All right. Well, if that's the case, then you can't fault him for that.
But I don't know.
We don't know.
I don't know that's for sure what happened, and I didn't hear any disconnect calls or hear any chatter about that. So you really got to wonder what went on there. And all of a sudden now, Eclipse need this win to force overtime.
I like. Okay. Lineup for M60s. 4 batch shots, 2 batch shot tier 9s. I like the Action X pick. That is consistent fire. We've seen that work in the long run on this map before. Meanwhile, it's going to be
6 batch shots.
6 batch shots and a
251 out of Eclipse, and they need this victory.
I'm still just so confused.
Can Eclipse force overtime? Can M60s get the win right now?
And hold their own fate in their hands? I don't know. And it looks like we're going to start off very early.
This is looking good for Eclipse. Positionally, they're ready to support each other.
Oh, that's going to be about 2 to 3 takes down all good. Wow. Talk about answering back.
Point, set, end match.
Yeah.
And that game was just decided in a matter of 1 minute.
Less than a minute.
This is becoming a thing, is just these random pushes from eClipse, just not waiting for a whole lot of intel, provided Wallhacks did spot a majority of the team there. Some of the tanks for M60s got spotted over at 6-7. They got caught out of position. And once again, this is what I talk about with all these, just the what will each team do as far as setup. Setup is the most important thing on this map, is where you set your tanks initially. How well you brawl and coordinate and all those things, that's purely second. If you don't put yourself in a good position early on, you're pretty much done.
Yeah.
And this round, just M60s ran a split, and eClipse was having none of it. They crashed right in as soon as Wallhacks and the Batchat over in the middle got the intel. They knew where all the tanks were, and they just went up and over, and they pretty much ended that match right then and there.
Yeah, that's a feels bad then for Aquatic M60s.
And the tiebreaker, as a reminder, is going to be Muravanka.
And I can almost promise you that the team that's going to be able to choose sides is probably going to be eClipse right here on this side.
Well, the thing is they're defending right now, so it's going to be the quickest attacking victory.
Oh, no, you are correct.
Now, that still should go to eClipse, if I'm not mistaken, but we'll let our admins sort that out. That said, all of a sudden, M60s, they were one round away from getting the free pass to the offline finals.
That's really disappointing for them.
Instead, they are going to remain in third place. They will get at least 1 point out of this, potentially 2, but a straight-up win would have been ideal for them.
Yeah, and I mean, at any point, they will most likely have to fight in the online qualifier instead of just being gifted that spot. So,
well, now there's 3 matches left after this. So, if eClipse slips up, they could pounce. But
I mean, yeah, you could argue that technically they still have a chance, but I don't see eClipse dropping 2 games and losing this one.
Yeah, but M60s have been playing very well. The biggest thing is just clean it up versus a lot of the other teams, the rounds that you don't think they'd lose. Because looking at it, you got to think, all right, they're going to be going into the online playoffs. Who are they going to play? The teams in that right now, Deja Vu, Rival, and CD are
07.
Yeah, well, 07 are tied.
Well, yeah, okay.
So, and they just dropped points to CD.
Yeah.
So you got to wonder, well, who else could they slip up against? Because, if it's Eclipse or Apex, yeah, you're going to favor them to win most of those matches. But that match in particular, I don't really know about. And looking at the damage there, Mort coming up big at 3,000 damage, and Wallhacks, and that little RU-251 doing 2,200, provided he did have the consistent fire to go play cleanup and really pump out some damage. He got, I think it was like 4 shots off when they made that initial push around the 2 line. So not really a whole lot that M60s could do about that. And overall, just M60s, no one really able to get into the fight, provided they found themselves in a 4-on-6 or 4-on-7 overmatch within the first 45 seconds of the game. And that's the second night in a row where eClipse have just shown, we can brawl, we can go for it, we'll keep all our tanks together, and we'll take whatever it is you got. They did it versus High. Now that first match on Cliff, I'm still completely baffled about.
Yeah.
I just don't get that at all.
It is actually going to be the Aquatic M60s. They're going to choose the side, and again, it's Muravanka, and they choose to defend. Their fastest attack was on Battle 4 in Himmelsdorf, and also they called the timeout.
Okay, so we have 2 minutes till the next battle is underway.
About minute 30 seconds. It's hard.
Muravanka with M60s on defense predictions.
You want to favor M60s.
They are on defense. Clips. They started off the season by showing us that they can attack very well on this map, but then they had a couple maps where they spent almost 8 minutes just driving around in circles, not able to find any of the passive scouts.
They also had that really embarrassing loss to High.
Yeah, so it's not out of the realm of possibilities. And once again, this is a map that I don't think M60s have actually played a whole lot. So you gotta wonder. This could be the same situation as CD, where it was just a map that they normally banned and they have very little practice on, and all of a sudden they find themselves in overtime on it. So that's
Smiley. I didn't really know what was going on. I was just calling them tanks.
Yeah, and they made it work too.
Yeah,
and that was
they won.
That was against M60s.
That's true. I want to favor M60s here. I'm gonna give it to eClipse just because I'm also kind of upset about what happened on Cliff right there.
Yeah, definitely, and you gotta wonder why they chose to run that sort of split, because recently eClipse has really shown that they're willing to go for those brawls, and why they decided to split that far apart and they all got lit off in weird spots.
But you know what? Hey, good on eClipse.
Yeah, great on eClipse for recognizing it, set up for it, and punishing it. It's just you got to question the strat out of M60s. And like I said, Cliff is one of the few maps in this game where the opening 15 seconds in deployment really can affect the overall outcome of the game.
Dare I say the most dynamic map of the league.
Yeah, no kidding. And like looking at it, maps like Mines or whatnot, like you can have those brawls, but Cliff, it's really decided right then and there.
Well, let's get it over with. eClipse versus Apex, last map.
Muravanka, a map with a great number of buildings, bushes and trees, amongst which teams hide for most of the battle. The attacking team begins the battle from the top of the village, and the defenders start from the bottom of the map. Both bases are better controlled from the hill near the first base, and from the green in the lower left corner of the map. There are many attack directions. The attacking team often attempts to gain the attention of defenders by putting pressure on the first base, whilst manoeuvring several tanks behind the second base to deliver fire into the defending's flank. Team setups are very diverse, but the players often choose the fastest tanks, even for heavy setups. They could even bring SPGs.
And here we go into battle number 9. It is eClipse coming up with 3 T-57s, a 140, 2 Batchats, and a CDC. And they are attacking.
Second time I've seen that.
So far I've only seen it used as a tank shield, so we'll have to see if they try to do that again. Meanwhile, Aquatic M60s, a T-57, an E5, a 140, 3 Batchats, and an RU-251. And once again, the CDC is just going to be used as a moving bunker. It's just tall enough to shield a Batchat.
Kind of looks like a duck.
Close. They have a tank called the AMX40. It's like a tier 4, and that one has the nickname as Duck already, so...
Okay.
Gonna have to try again.
Saying it kind of looks like a duck.
And the push is just coming out right away out of M60s, and they're just going to push straight up the 4 line, trying to catch out these tanks for eClipse. However, eClipse have all their guns nice and tight together. We'll have to see what they do with this.
20 seconds left. This is already very fast. And they're going to find the CDC. I mean, that's not a big deal for eClipse. They wanted that to happen. But finding Diabetic was not part of the plan, I can promise you that. And right now, the HP pool advantage is in favor still of eClipse, although they are a tank down. Felix is going to fall and even it up. Ox 1 shot away. Brett creeping into that death area as well. Brett taking damage from Dark Ninja. Dark Ninja's going to come around. He's going to actually be taken out by Brett. Okay.
They need to get that T-57 down. And they're just losing guns, and they're low on the HP battle. However, these autoloaders are going to come off here soon.
Morphic finding Brett in a that's huge. A 251 taking out a tier 8 light, essentially taking out a tier 8 heavy.
Morphic.
This is very back and forth, James. I honestly can't call it right now.
Yeah, this could be decided by Bales right now, who's going to be in a great position in that Batchat.
Let's listen into eClipse right now.
We're not moving with
Do
the full
something.
HP tanks.
Holy shit.
Fucking go.
Go. Get Mr. Man. He
Go.
shot
Are
a
you
couple
going
times.
in? Go.
Mr. Man
Go.
shot a couple times. Go.
Lord.
There's
No.
our HP. Fucking full. Use it.
God.
Go, 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 go.
Alright, he has one
Kill
shot,
him.
one shot.
Alright, calm down, calm
Stop
down.
it.
He's
Stop it.
cracked, I
Stop
can't
it.
kill him. Okay, now I can.
Okay, calm
Nice,
down.
nice.
Calm down. Just
Alright.
don't die here.
Reload.
We'll
He has.
we win.
Oh, he's
gonna reload.
You can
Just
go
shot.
before him. Just go in. You can
Fine.
kill
Yep.
him.
Just chase him.
That's what you
Jesus
can just
Christ.
go. That's what just go.
I'm trying.
Better you can go up there.
Just relax.
Okay,
Got
don't
it.
die.
It's a win. It's a win.
All I was saying was Bales was a 3-shot, and Mort, you could
I know,
come
we
here
were
and kill
calling
them with me.
2 different things, and our
Yes.
HP tanks weren't moving. That's the problem.
Yeah.
But we still win because they don't know how to play Mero.
Yeah.
That was
Yes,
fucking.
I
could have
fucked up. I shouldn't have.
No.
I'm sorry.
Like that would have been perfectly fine. Like I had a full clip into him. None of them fucking panned.
Well, yeah, too, when I saw the bats were going this
They're
way,
all
so you don't need to
fucking
cross the
awesome.
point. You can just stop aiming, see it? Stop aiming, dude.
God.
Mort. Holy
Jesus.
fuck.
All right, calm down.
No, I'm fine. Come on. Seriously.
And they pick up the win.
Just as I was praising this team for cleaning up their comms, as soon as we get into it, complete freaking chaos.
Oh, that was hilarious to
Oh
listen
my
to.
goodness. So yeah, and you heard it right there. There was multiple people making different calls, and that was the confusion that almost caused them to lose that.
Yeah, well, and that happens a lot, especially when you have tanks the same name. If you're not very careful about saying which tank exactly you're talking about,
Right,
you
exactly.
say, let's kill this Batchat. all right,
there's like three bat chats, dude.
Yeah, exactly. And so, calling tank names is very important, or referring to HPs is another common one. Now, the HP thing can get tricky if they're off full health.
Sure.
However, more often than not, when they're not, if you say, all right, bat chat at blah, blah, 1400 or whatever, that's kind of how you identify stuff. And that's something that can be very useful for people getting into, organized play as far as strongholds or Silver League or whatnot, or just, other skirmishes and other tournaments.
Communication isn't... is almost useless unless it's effective. And
being as concise as you can be with as few words as you need, so you don't clutter comms. Say bat chat this. It's calling out the target. Bat chat at 1300. All right, so bat chat at 1300. Everyone should be trying to shoot at right now. So, just a little bit useful tidbit there. But overall, good stuff out of eClipse. Overall, I like the setup there on attack. Wasn't necessarily a big fan out of M60's push there. I get what they were going for, but it didn't really pay off.
All right, well, Master Pupil, you are going to join us, and what the hell happened to Tigers on Cliff? Can you explain that? Can someone explain that? Do you know what happened?
I mean, I'd rather not try to explain it. I'm not sure what happened, to be honest. It was just kind of random. I was listening in, and it didn't even seem like anyone really noticed that happened.
What?
Well, answer this: was that a pure mistake, or was that a I'm on tilt and forget this? I'm proving a point right now. Play.
See, Tigers is really bad at memes. So when I say that we're good at super slamming, he tries to join in on the fun, and he actually tried it there, and that's what.
Wow.
That's when he crashed. That's when he crashed because he missed completely.
Okay, so he was going for a Goomba and he just missed by 50 feet.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, well that answers that.
Another thing that I want to point out is I was actually throughout the series I was praising comms honestly because we listened in a few times and comms seemed to be a lot cleaner. Information was being passed really well, but then at the very end when you could say the crud kind of hit the fan there. It was not good. Comms was not good. Talk to me a little bit about that.
If you're referring to the last game, then yeah, it was Tigers calling one thing, the players wanting to do another. Sometimes we have a problem of reacting on our own without the call being made. Something that should come second hand, like something that you should know without a doubt, and just like something that you should know. Basically, sometimes we need to be told that we have to go through with it. We freeze up sometimes, basically, and that seemed to be what happened in the last game.
It was a little panic under pressure because I got to say again, overall comms tonight from you guys was great. It was way cleaned up. Way more cleaned up.
Thank
you.
Except for the last round. But
except for the last round. But hey, you know what? It can't be perfect all the time. So. All right, Master People, congratulations. I'm sure it's not the super slam you wanted tonight on Aquatic M60s, but it is a victory, which means that you have beaten every single team in the league. Moving forward, you're still clinching on that second place spot. It's looking good, so congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.